Howdy there folks, and welcome back to Bullets for Bucks. Today I'm super excited to bring you a thorough review and range test on the Henry lever action Model X rifle. And I'm super happy to be getting into these lever action rifles. They're a ton of fun and they're kind of coming back in popularity. So let's take this thing out to the range and see how it performs. All right, now let's go over some of those range results. But first, let's go over the fit, the feel, the function, and the specifications of this rifle. Starting at the buttstock, it's about a ½ inch to 1 inch thick, a little bit of a curve here, very stiff rubber though, and it doesn't mitigate without recoil really all that good on a 45-70, which is a heavy hitting recoil cartridge. Then we have a pretty average or below average polymer stock, nothing crazy or special about it, but it does get the job done. Has an integral molded in sling swivel stud for a sling to attach to. I really would like to see this with a metal sling swivel stud or even flush cups. It doesn't have adjustable spacers, and that length of pull is quite long at 14 inches. And then coming forward, you have this kind of long traditional grip here, a little bit of like stippling for grippiness. By the way, the comb on this, pretty traditional style. Then you have your metal lever right here. It is kind of polished black. And then you have a nice big spur on this hammer. Like when you load this, you can't like let it down and then fire. You have to keep it cocked or manually cock it. Has actually a pretty decent trigger. We'll show you the weight on that later. Then it has a metal receiver here, has screws in the top so you can attach a Picatinny rail here or scope rings here. I think it has some sort of like bluing, or maybe it's parkerized, I'm not sure. It's not parkerized, I think it's just some sort of bluing, or it might be like a hard anodized finish. Coming forward, you do have a fiber optic adjustable rear sight, and it is partly polymer on the top here. It's not too bad though. I did take this out on several bear hunts and it seemed to function fine and hold up. And then you have this pretty thin, kind of stippled fore end here, comes out maybe 16 inches or a foot. Has what looks like M-LOK here, and maybe you could use M-LOK here, but it's polymer and I don't really think that's what it's for, but potentially. And then you have a molded in sling swivel stud and a molded in plastic Picatinny rail right here, which I don't really prefer either. I'd like to see that be metal. Then you have your magazine tube, pretty easy to use and operate. You do have to take the suppressor off to be able to remove that and load it, but you can just load it from the side if you desire, so you can bypass that completely. Features a 19.8 inch barrel, has a front fiber optic sight. Once again, I think that might be plastic. It could be aluminum. Actually, I believe the base is aluminum, but I think the top is plastic. And then the best thing of all with this though is it's threaded 5/8 by 24. And some other lever actions out there aren't, and so you have to get adapters. 5/8 by 24 is by far the most common for muzzle brakes and suppressors, so really happy that this one is threaded 5/8 by 24. So let's go over kind of the feel of it. You know, it feels fine, but it doesn't feel premium. Like its shoulder's all right. It's very narrow, so this could definitely go into a scabbard very easily and be pulling out and in without like catching on anything, which is a benefit. All right, so like I said, it's a 19.8 inch barrel, features a 1 in 20 twist. It weighs, without the suppressor, 7.4 pounds. The scope mounting takes a Weaver 63B scope mount. The length of pull on this is 14 inches, so pretty long for women or smaller people. This is in fact molded in plastic M-LOK. Now let's check the trigger weight. Breaks at 4.5 pounds according to my scale. Let's talk about the action on this. It's actually pretty smooth. I don't have any really complaints with it. And then it has the side loading right here, and really it works fine. So I'm actually quite pleased with the action itself. And the trigger doesn't work bad. Let's see if it's any lighter if you like cock it and then manually let down and then up the, no, it's 5 pounds. So it might actually be heavier if you were to manually cock it, pulling the hammer back versus loading it on. I really think it's probably the same. It probably just fluctuates between 4.5 and 5 pounds. And then we have the suppressor right here, which I'm going to remove. It does, of course, come with a thread protector. This is a anechoic suppressor, and this is the anechoic X45. They have compact, basically shorter versions of suppressors and longer ones. It's made of titanium. I really like the spiral fluting on it. You can get it with a pass-through cap or an enclosed cap. Eventually I'm going to switch this to the enclosed cap because it is quieter. And then you have different thread adapters you can put on this end. It's really easy to clean, absolutely fantastic suppressors, really nice. I use promo code Bullets for Bucks for them. And then we'll show you that tube here. So you just want to pull it out. Then you can drop the rounds down in here, and then you can put the tube either back, and then you don't actually have to remove the tube fully to be able to load it. And then you just twist it counterclockwise to lock in place, clockwise to unlock it and remove it. Now let's go ahead and measure the overall length of this rifle. That's without a muzzle brake though, so keep that in mind. It's about 38, just over 38.5. So accuracy was pretty much what you'd expect from a 45-70 lever action. It was like unremarkable, good or bad. It was just plenty good enough to shoot out to 50 yards. With iron sights, with the scope, I imagine you could shoot out to 100 quite easily, but certainly a great gun, even with iron sights out to 50, not hard to hit, probably a 6-inch plate, plenty accurate enough for bear hunting or bear defense. Now, if you're interested in tripods similar to this, go ahead and check out the shopping carousel below. You'll see Lux Gun Tripod, and use promo code Bullets for Bucks to save on that. We'll be adding some more tripod models in the future. Thanks for watching Bullets for Bucks. Check out this next video and subscribe.